Welcome back to this edition of the Taiwan Outlook. We're going to continue our interview today with Mr. Eddie Yan, who is the Director of the Office of Trade and Investment for the state of Idaho in Taipei, Taiwan. Eddie, as we were discussing in the earlier segment, that there are 17 state offices in Taiwan. And most of these state offices do, at the same time, have a sister state relationship with the province of Taiwan.
Yes.
And would you please tell us, as you know, that Idaho is one of the first states in the U.S. to establish a sister state relationship with Taiwan. Would you tell us that what were the purpose, what were the considerations in terms of establishing a sister state relationship with the province of Taiwan?
Okay, Raymond, I think before I answer that question, I would say right now there are more than 40 U.S. states. Yes. Having the sister state and province relationship with Taiwan. I think the most important thing for establishing the relationship is try to enhance the trade. I think there are several different kind of level relationship.
Exactly.
That when you are pursuing a relationship, that's something you are considered. That the first level is the government relations. We all know that relationship is very important. I would say relationship is important everywhere, and all over the world.
Even between two people. Yes.
But in Asia, to a lot of Americans, they think relationship or connection, as you like to use in another term, is extremely important. And government always play a very important role in like the state-owned company business, which was true in the past. I would say that. But Taiwan, I think, has changed quite a bit. But in the past, let's say 15 years ago, women, I think, you came back to Taiwan in like a mid-90s. You know that. So that's one of the reasons that many U.S. states, established the relationship with Taiwan, and also the trade relationship. Because we all know having the government relationship established, that will help to a certain degree communication for trade or even for cultural exchanges.
Of course.
So that's all the main consideration. I would say government, trade, cultural exchanges.
And there's also something I want to share with our viewers back home. I first got to meet Mr. Eddie Yan when I was at the time serving as the Foreign Affairs Director for the Taiwan provincial government. Eddie at the time, of course, was representing the state of Idaho. Over my tenure in office, I was very happy and have the opportunity working with Mr. Eddie Yan in terms of promoting the bilateral trade between Idaho and Taiwan, but as well as arranging cultural and educational exchanges between our two peoples. And also at the same time, I had the honor of receiving some of your political dignitaries, including your governor, including U.S. senators, representing the state of Idaho. So there was quite an experience. And also, I want to ask Eddie, your experience as a trade director for a major state in the U.S., what are the most satisfying aspects of your work? In terms of you thinking that your efforts in terms of promoting the bilateral trade between Taiwan and Idaho has paid off, and what are the other aspects, conversely, that are not so fulfilling, maybe a little disappointing in the last 18 years while you were representing a major state in Taiwan?
I would like to share one kind of a real story about Raymond with all the kind of audience. I think Raymond was the first one, and actually so far the only one, the Taiwan, the diplomat from Taiwan that made a speech, a presentation to a kind of joint session of Idaho legislature. I think back to 1995.
Yes, 95 it was.
And that was a significant kind of achievement for a foreign diplomat to have the opportunity to make a presentation to introduce Taiwan to all the state House of Representatives and state senators. So I would like to share that with our audience before.
Well, it wasn't possible without the assistance and the arrangements done by Eddie in the process.
I think in the past 17 years, one of the things I really feel very kind of proud of is that over the year, Taiwan has become Idaho's top 5 export market.
Yes.
When we established the office, the trade volume between Taiwan and Idaho is about $5 million US. The number has expanded to more than 300 million last year. And we expected this year, because of a slow economy, so I cannot tell you whether the number will be even bigger or not, but Taiwan has been a very stable and important market for Idaho, not just agricultural products,
of course,
and also like high tech. You won't believe Idaho has exported a lot of semiconductors.
Yes.
To
and also for our viewers back home, that Idaho is home to the very important semiconductor manufacturer in the world, Micron.
Yeah, Micron technology.
So this is something that people didn't know in the past. Probably a lot of people didn't. Yeah.
And also, just about last month, about 2 or 3 years ago, a solar company in Taiwan just signed an agreement with a new solar company,
manufacturer of polysilicon. Yes.
That's 450 million, I believe, for 10 years.
Very significant for 10-year contract.
Yeah, that's a new industry, the solar kind of energy and wind power, actually. Those are the two of the main alternative energy that Idaho has been pushing quite a bit.
Yes, wind and solar.
Yes.
Yeah. So as the global green movement towards alternative, energy uses.
And in the past, I think our office, we have more focus on just trade, tourism, and education, and we have really not done much on investment. And so that's the area that my office will be spending most of our energy, like resources, and our time on in the future. And actually, we have identified several areas, and as I mentioned, that alternative energies.
Yes.
Those are the areas that we will be introducing kind of a larger company and investment opportunity to Taiwan and to
other parts of Asia. Yes. And also, Eddie, you mentioned earlier that we in Taiwan have undergone a lot of changes in the last few years, especially with our continued effort to democratize, but also at the same time, our layers of government has changed. Used to we have a central government, a provincial government, and then the city and county government, and then the local township, 4 layers of government. But now it's being eliminated into just 2 levels. First is the central government, and then the city and counties only. Of course, used to the provincial government of Taiwan is the counterpart to most of the sister states, including those 43 in the U.S. And now that no longer, we have a provincial government of Taiwan. How does that help, or does it impair your work in Taiwan? Who do you now deal most with in terms of government structure here in Taiwan? Do you deal with mostly the central government, for example, the Ministry of Economic Affairs, or Ministry of Foreign Affairs, MOFA?
Well, of course, the downsides of the government really has, for us, it has lots of kind of conveniences, but also it has some disadvantages. Like, we were put in a kind of very awkward situation to explain to our kind of home office why the Taiwan provincial government.
There's been a change of government.
Actually, they still have a name, Taiwan provincial government, but it's just
but
not
the function
really
is being divided.
So really, I think that is really create a lot of.
But how does Taiwan promote its trade relations with sister state in the U.S. now that no longer there's a provincial government?
Well, I don't think Taiwan has done a good job in explaining that to the foreign kind of partner, especially those sister state and kind of province kind of relations. Like, I have been asked by not just my own state people, but also by other state, and what is the new system?
Yes.
And it's very difficult for me to explain, to have a very good explanation to them.
Of course.
But in reality, in the real daily operation, but it really does not really affect much of our kind of operation here.
Maybe it can enhance also some of the administrative efficiency in terms of having less layers of government. But in any case, things have already happened in the past that we must move forward. So after a short break, please come back to Taiwan Outlook. We're going to continue our discussion with Mr. Eddie Yan.